Peace and abundance. One other thing before getting off of here, I want to also share with you all. When I was like about like I would say 6 or 7 years old, I had went over to my father's house for the weekend, and at this time he was dating this lady by the name of Sandra Barber. He has two children with Sandra, Nikki and Casey. And Sandra had decorated the living room. She had light blue and dark blue curtains, and the dark blue had velvet, and it was like of leaves and flower shape in it. And then the it was light blue, like velvet kind of material couch and chair, and also a dark blue, shaggy, dark blue and light blue shaggy carpet. And I remember, y'all, I remember this like it was yesterday. Um, I recall going over there, and there was like other people over there. I would say there was about like 7 to 10 people in the living room, and it was not all black. The majority of them, I recall, was white, and they was looking in our eyes, looking in my eyes, and looking in each other's eyes, as if, what did he say? He said, "We can tell, like your future or something." They knew who I was. Now that I think about all of this, you all, and that's why I say people are here for a reason, either to keep you from yourself or to actually help, build up the positivity, the love, and all that. So I just thinking about all this, you all, that should have told me long ago, if I had been thinking properly, that I was not in the best hands. People wasn't who they actually claimed to be, when I was around them. But again, I really truly believe I have always been poisoned. I was always poisoned. Not only, was maybe my food poisoned, but just mentally, the way I was supposed to think. I recall, again, like my so-called father would always tell me, think negative. That way, when things happen that is negative, it doesn't, catch you off guard. You was always prepared for it because he always knew I was a manifester. And I have always manifested, just like, being able to take care of my mom, being able to build a house from ground up, all of that. I manifested these things. I've seen it. And anything that you see, you can actually create. They make you believe incorrectly, like, we ought to be okay with suffering and struggling, because look what Jesus Christ did. He suffered and he struggled. You heard me? But so they have their heaven here on earth, and we got to wait to die to have ours. So I wanted to get on here and I wanted to say that again, because there's more to my story, but I want you all to have a better understanding where I'm going with this and why I feel the way that I feel. There was something else that I wanted to say before leaving it. Um, Hold on, let me pause it so I could think. Hold on. That's what it was. When I was a little girl, y'all, I had a dream. I had a dream that for whatever reason I was given a heavy equipment company to me. Um, and being a young girl, I didn't know what to do with it, so I gave it to my father because he had a construction business and he knew what to do with it. That was my dream. You heard me? So as I've gotten older, I recall when I left Kansas and moved to Indiana with my ex-husband. First of all, my so-called father paid for my ex-husband's tuition for college because he was in IT, in computer programming. He was nerdy like that, and I'm not going to say nerdy. He was intelligent, um, and he was in the military prior, but he went to computer programming, and my ex, my father paid for his education, and I was I I was happy that he did that. I was actually surprised that he did that because, you know, when I went to school, I had to pay for my own, but he helped my ex-husband with his. So that kind of threw me back there for a minute. But now that I think about it, I could see why, because when I think about, um, like I was saying, I believe that I have been watched. My TikTok has, was compromised. I share my story on TikTok, and I can't find those videos and all of that. I got access back to the old TikTok, but it's none of those videos are there. And I recall Carolyn Shepherd coming to our housewarming party. When we finished building the house, they came to the housewarming party together. My so-called father and Carolyn Shepherd. And I thought that was strange that she even came. I never even knew she was coming till she came. And this is when my so-called father brought me a birth certificate, y'all. And that is not a legit birth certificate. It's a fake birth certificate. And y'all, that video is gone too, where I was confronting him on the phone. I have recorded that video about him giving me a fake birth certificate. That video is gone, but I still have the birth certificate. But anyway, so I thought that was funny too. But also, before I even moved to Indiana, was it before? Yeah, it was before I moved to Indiana. I recall going over to my sister Macy's house for dinner. She had invited us over for dinner. Why was Carolyn at my sister's house for dinner? I mean, she would just come up in the places that I'm like, why is she here? And my mom was prejudiced. My mom did not like any other people other than ourselves. And I recall going outside on the front porch, smoking a cigarette, and seeing Carolyn come from running in the back, crying, running to her car and leaving, not eating dinner or anything. So I go in the house and I ask Mama, because I knew Mama did something. I knew it had to be Mama. I was like, Mama, what did you say to that woman? And she's like, you know, and y'all, I really truly believe this is where all this jealousy and a lot of stuff is coming from. Like that dream, Harold Shepard left me in his will. I really truly believe that. Why was she at my house in Indiana? Why is she at my sister's house with my mother? You heard me? And not only that, when Harold Shepard died, my so-called father asked me would I go, and I told him yeah. At the last minute he gonna tell me I don't need to go because Devin's going. They didn't want me at that funeral, y'all. They kept me from that. They kept me from all of that. So, and ever since then, that's when everything just started snowballing. As far as my job at Blue Cross, as far as my daycare, as far as my foster care. They didn't want me to be independent. They wanted me to look as if there was something mentally wrong with me. So, y'all, I'm telling you, Most High picked me up off of the floor. You heard me when I start asking questions, about him, my father, asking who, about incest, about who if he's really my father. and I'm breaking down. I was hurt, y'all. I I hadn't cried like that ever before. It scared me. And he walked out the door. You heard me? Didn't console me. It was like he was glad to see me down like that. And not only that, he put in my head over the phone, not over the phone, he put in my head not to hurt myself. I wasn't planning on hurting myself. I was just upset, crying, and asking him questions. I didn't say, I want to do this. I want to do this to myself. I feel like this. I never did none of that. So why would he say, now don't hurt yourself, Sherry? Would try to put that in my mind. They wanted me to hurt myself. And I'm telling other family members what is going on, telling them that he was wanting me to hurt myself. Nobody never disagreed with me. It's like they knew. They all knew. I had got intuitions, stop eating people's food. People was all of a sudden bringing me food cups. I'm telling you, Most High was working with me. That's why I'd say I can confirm for sure there is definitely a Most High, because Most High was talking to me. Most High told me, pack my bags. You heard me? Pack my bags. Get rid of my animals. Leave. You know, leave. If I want peace, I need to leave. And that I was in danger. That's why I left. That's why I left. And then all of a sudden, when I left, they're going to put a missing report on me. When I'm not missing, because he had came to my house. I had the ring security. He had came to my house and I answered the ring. He didn't ask me where you at, or asking, as if he, was concerned about me. But all of a sudden you're going to put a missing report. That was because they wanted to get the police involved so they can probably pin my phone to find out where I was. That's why I had to leave Colorado and come here. And I really do believe that they even found out where I'm at here, but which is fine. I'm not scared. I'm not scared because I know Most High got me. I've always known I was divinely protected, y'all. Always known. When I think about everything that I have gone through, I knew that. I knew that if I wasn't protected, Most High would have been and allowed them to have their way with me. But Most High has always protected me. Um, there's so much more, y'all, but I just wanted to share with y'all about that light being put in my eye, saying that, they're being able to see my future, like if there's any medical issues or whatever, by looking in my eye. That was their reason. So I knew there was something going on. And one other thing with the police and stuff. Um, I recall my niece Tasha, the one that I believe is John's daughter. I remember my brother taking her a car from the impound, the police impound, giving her that car, so she'd have, transportation in college. And she got in a car wreck. And that's how we found out this car was stolen from the impound yard from the police. How you gonna get a car from the impound yard, a stolen car, unless you have clicks with the police? So I know there's more to all of this. I know there's more to all of this. I know that there's like a secret society, a clique or whatever going on, especially like with Blue Cross with the security, and me complaining about different things, and the EEOC just throwing my case out like it is nothing, you know. Everybody had something going on with this case, with me. They knew who I was, and they was keeping my identity from me. But I'm figuring it out. I always knew that. I always knew that who I was. Marie Laveau is my great, 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 great grandmother. We have the same birthdays. We have the same life path. Our lives are the same. Her wars at 15. Her war started at 15. Mine started before, but that's when I really recognized I was in a war. It was at the age of 15. So I mean, everything is it's all the same. My big mama told me too much. I read too many books, and I'm just I'm healing. I'm healing myself. I'm healing my brain. My crown chakra is on fire. You heard me? Every day I wake up and I get new information. I know about all the download clicks and all the groupie sex that they have going on. I know a lot, you all. And I know about my sister, Misi. She's so jealous of me, you all. So very jealous of me. You know, when I did nothing but give her genuine love. All my family members, I gave nothing but genuine love. But me and my sister was close. We was close because she wanted to keep me as an enemy close, to know what, what level I was on, what I was doing. And when she and I fell out, that's when my brother Troy wanted to get close. Let's have like spiritual meetings. And, that's when he wanted to do things that I wanted to do. But that's when we seen my people up in that sky watching. Y'all, I start recognizing he and his whole group of friends seeing my people, that light, uh, unidentified flying object with lights just all around it, following us. They seen that just as well as I did. As a matter of fact, they pointed it out to me. They showed me it. So they knew who I was. They knew. And I know now. And I've never returned there. They tried to get me sick by dealing with my ex. They knew he was down low. They tried to make me sick, y'all. I know so much more now. And I know if people that I know that if I had to go through all this, I know there's other people that's going through this. Get away. What you got, material possessions, don't mean nothing like your peace. I will never, ever sacrifice my peace ever again. I never, you heard me? Peace and abundance.